Hi everybody, Gisele Grenier here from artplace.ca. Well, this will be the last video for today. It's just too hot to do any more stuff. The air conditioner doesn't seem to be keeping up, so I'm just gonna. It's the video lights. It's too hot, so I'm just gonna do this part before the drying time. I'm caught in my microphone again, and then we'll let everything dry. Then we'll come back tomorrow. So for today's demonstration, I'm going to be working on texture again, and what better product to use than Decoar's Texture Fiero. And the camera doesn't quite pick up everything here. There we go. So what Texture Fiero is, think of it as colored shiny sand. It's much better than that because it's just the vibrant colors. And what you've got, what I have in front of me is green gold, iron green, red iron oxide, iron graphite, iron brown, midnight blue iron, gold, and iron black. Now this card here, it's not part of these products. It's a different, it's another texture. It's like a sand, it's texture medium. It's very thick. It's very similar to this, except there's no shine. And I'm not going to be demonstrating it because it's, think of it as just this, but it's white. But I am going to use the back of the card because after putting out all my samples that I use here, because I use these to make ETCs, I realized I don't have one of this. And I'm looking at this and saying, this is the color. This is stuff that I've painted. So this doesn't even belong there. That is this painted. The texture medium. That is just this painted. Okay? And what I have, just to show you, this is the green gold, beautiful. You lay it on with a palette knife, iron green. This is a mishmash of a bunch of stuff. This is, I believe it's blue iron with some of this paint. You can mix it up. And you can even add a little bit of the other product in here just to tint it a little bit. Isn't that beautiful? How gorgeous is that? And you can really make them smooth like we did here, okay, or you can really texture them up like here. You can add additional colors. You can mix two colors together, okay, all these beautiful things here. So what I'm going to be doing, so now let me put this away. And what I'm going to be doing, oh, just to show you, and here's a little ATC I made, and I put the Texture Fiero in the background. And then use the decoupage to glue down the clock that I have triple thick on it, and then the rhinestone. Isn't that cute? I painted a kitty cat. It's hard to paint on, so you don't use your good brushes for that. So I'm going to be doing two spreads today, but I'm going to actually do a paint sample of that one because I don't have that. And what the two samples I'm going to do today is, one's going to be a mixture of blue and black to show you how you can layer it, and I'm going to stencil a simple phrase on it. Stencil, yeah, so you can stencil. Then on this one, I'm going to first paint the background, a very grungy black and white, and I'm going to be using phthalo green and permanent alizarin crimson to make black, and I'm going to dry brush a lot of that, and then I'm going to stencil this really cool zebra stencil. I'm going to stencil that with possibly the silver, the iron. I'm not quite sure yet. The page usually tells me what I'm going to do, and then the phrase for this one is going to be just imagine, just to show you how careful you have to be. And I'll probably just put it here. Okay, so let me just move a lot of this stuff out of the way. The stuff that I'm not going to need, I'm just going to put it out of the way. Depends on what colors I'm going to use. I'm not going to use gold. I've done the gold so much. I'm liking blue and black for the background of this one. This one's going to be painted, and I'm going to stencil, and I'm thinking that's beautiful. I'm thinking I'm going to use that. Yeah, I think I'm going to use this one. Okay. Just have to double check, but it's very similar. It's just like think of it like sand with glue in it, and just to show you how to put it on. just get a palette knife. Oh my goodness. And I like to mix mine up first. If I find that the product is over drying as it gets low, I will spritz some distilled water and I'll just let it sit for a little bit. Then I'll mix it up, then I'll add a little bit more distilled water. And it just goes on like you're breading butter. Yeah, let's see you do that. Let's see you bread butter. Butter bread. Now all these ATCs I had actually put the product on them, and then I used an X-Acto knife to cut. If you're able to do it by hand like this, then all the power to you. Some of them I just wanted really, really smooth, and it's very hard to get smooth if you're holding it. And because this is like a stone product, it is very heavy. So if you're going to use this on a journal page, you may not want to use it on a journal page as you're going to be swapping with, because we have a swap group where we swap journal pages. It might be a little bit heavy, but sometimes it's just worth it. See, there you go. How easy was that? Look at that. Isn't that beautiful? So I'll put that aside here. And again, without any texture product, this you need to clean right away. You don't want it to dry on your paintbrushes or palette knives, because the products are made for a very high adhesion, so they'll stick to almost anything. So you want to make sure that you've got them really clean. Put this one aside. Well, let's start with this one. I'm going to prime the background of this one first. So you know what to do if you're using thin paper. I'm going to start off with equal parts of permanent alizarin crimson and phthalo green to make a black. These two pigments together make the most amazing blacks, because you can shift them to green or you can shift it to red. Because they're opposites on the color wheel, they make a really nice rich black. You can use carbon black, but for this I wanted to be able to, because as I dry brush this, some of the paper is going to show through, and I want it to show a slight hint. And I want this more on the red side, not on the green side. Now phthalo green is mega powerful, so you may have to add a little bit more of the alizarin crimson, and make sure this is really well blended. They're both transparent pigments. Let me just reach over. Oh my goodness, I should put this stuff closer. And we'll do a swatch. If your page is too thin, don't forget to coat 1 or 2 layers of acrylic gesso. I'm just going to get a little round brush, and I'm going to do a test first. Because this is too dark, I'm going to load a lot of water just to see, and this is obviously leaning towards the green. Okay, and I don't want it to lean towards the green, I want it to lean towards the red. So I'm going to add a little bit more the alizarin crimson permanent. There we go. And because the mixing area is so large, I will have to use my brush to do a little bit of a mix. Like I'll have to go like this just to make sure it's picked everything up. Some water. Yeah, that one worked. There we go. That leads a little bit more towards the red. If I wanted even more red, I'm only going to do a little bit here to show you the difference. This is why I love mixing my own reds, or my own blacks. Always use white. There we go. Oh, you know what? That's nicer. Darn. Okay. I'm going to use a bit of both. I let the page guide me. If something just feels right, I go with it. I don't even try to fight it. I don't even try to fight it. You know why? Because it's not worth fighting with your muse. There we go. It's in between. Okay. So that's what I'm going to use. And what's my favorite brush for doing dry brushing? Yay! My number 8 Bristle Bright that's totally broken apart. It's a Royal Soft Grip. It's missing this piece here. I'm not sure where that went. I wonder if... But, I mean, the brush is still usable. It's just missing the rubber. But again, I'm not quite sure where it went. So I'm just going to load the brush. And I didn't put the brush in water first. And all I'm going to do is just dry brush the whole piece. And I'll work with up and down strokes. And until I run out of paint, I'll pick up a little bit more, start somewhere in here. And it's like a touch, push, lift. If you come in here and go like this, you're going to get a big blob. You can see that here. So you want to go touch, push, lift, touch, push, lift, touch, push, lift. It's the same stroke I teach in drawing. That one's a little bit heavy. It doesn't matter so much because all we're working on is a background, which is probably going to be covered anyways. Heck, you really want to get fancy? And no, I should not be doing this now because I'm digressing. I do that a lot lately. We are going to cover this, but I just couldn't resist. I couldn't resist. I just had to do it. Had to do it. And you're just going to dry brush this. And what we're looking for is we're just going to basically grunge up the background. You can work with actually any shapes you want. You don't have to go up and down. I am because I like it. And I have way more paint than I need, but I'm going to be putting that into a little container. DecoArt has these containers like the like this and the oh, I don't have one here. The actual little paint bottle ones and little containers with screw-on caps. I'm going to put the paint in there because I use this mix so many times. And once you get that going, then you're going to pick some areas and you're really going to darken it up. Remember, this is all about background, so there really is no particular wrong way to do it as long as you like it. Backgrounds are one thing that they are secondary. They are not to be the primary focus of your piece. A lot of the backgrounds that I was doing really shouldn't have been backgrounds. They should have been pieces like where you're combining techniques to embellish and stuff like that. And with the acrylics, if you don't like what you've done, paint over it. Paint over it with gesso. And start all over again. How easy is that? Or collage. We're going to be doing some pretty cool collage stuff. That's what I was thinking about doing that with this one. I thought, nah. It's late at night and I don't have the energy to try to peel off the decoupage off my hands. It's a very, very strong product for adhesion, which is a good thing. See, now I'm getting lazy and I'm getting these splotches. Okay, so now just again, just build up the contrast. Don't rush this process because you don't want to overdo it. If this was brown, it would look like a tree bark. I just want to darken up the edges. There we go. So do this to whatever level you want, and then you can, depending on if you have all the colors of the Fierro, then you can choose your color any way you want. I actually could go straight with the black with this, but I'm going to stick with the silver. The iron graphite. I really like that. What I'm doing is I'm making sure I have enough dark intermingled to get some good contrast. And I really want this to look like the illusion of tree bark. Because I'm going to use that zebra stencil on this. It'll be a probably a journal page based about my love for wildlife. Okay, something like that. That and water. Okay, so let me put this into a container. We'll give that a sec to dry, and then we'll go on to the other page where all we're going to do is just put the whole texture Fierro right on the page. Okay, so I scooped up the paint and put it into a little bottle, and I used the paint bottle. There wasn't enough in there to really make it worth my while, so I just added some more, and now I have it here, and I just really mixed it well. And then all I'll do is I'll take my Staedtler Lumicolor Permanent Special, and I'll write chromatic black, which is black made with color, and pH green PAC, and then I'll put a little X under PAC, so I know it's chromatic black that leans towards alizarin crimson, leans towards the red. There you go. Alright, so for this one now, okay, we're going to color mix some of these right on the journal page. These products are, oh, contaminated this one. There's already some gray in it. These products here are really nice to use on canvas Masonite as well. Now this one already had some black in it, so I'm kind of defeating the purpose here to show you how I layer. So just butter the paper. You can go to the very edge. So I'm going to go very edge, and I will end up getting some on the back side, but I'm not too concerned about that. One easy way to get around that, you just tape the back edges, but you end up using a lot of tape. Or just before you do too much work, just do the edges right up front, like so. So I'm using the Midnight Blue Iron. It already had some black in it from the last time I used it. I am not going to put this in the holes, obviously. So I'll go to as close to the edge as possible. I want to do these parts first. You can put this on as thick or as thin as you want. That is totally up to you. Totally up to you. Get some on the back, it's no big deal. So now I'm going to kind of spread this out. The thicker it is, the longer it takes to dry. So I didn't quite get to show you how I did the black, but the black I would just pick up, go right on top and just butter it over, but not over blend it. Then I'll pick up a little bit of blue, come right in here. If you want to keep them uncontaminated, put them on your palette. For me, it doesn't matter because I use the products the same all the time. I just got some on my shirt. Oops. There we go. And then from here you can touch and lift the palette knife, and then you'll get some nice variations of blending. And I know there's a bit of a glare. There's nothing I can do about that other than work on this lifted up, but then the paper won't flat enough for me to work on this. So you can make it as soft as you want or as hard as you want. Like the edges, like a hard edge, like this, or you can make a soft edge like this. That's up to you. And if you want to then redefine an area, just put some other color on top and do that. See? Alright. Just going to go over now and just kind of make sure that all the paper has been covered. I'm just going to put a little bit more thick product right in here. So this is just to show you how you can layer the colors together. I am literally now do not have any room to let my stuff dry. So that's another reason why these are going to be my last sets of pages for today. Just double checking, see? Let's try something. Again, I'm digressing. I shouldn't be doing this, but heck, let's try. If you have bubble wrap, this is from a swap, bubble wrap right on top, lift up. No, but it got some really neat veining. Now, why didn't that work? That should have worked. Oh, I know why it didn't work. I'm such an idiot. Because I haven't split it off from the paper yet. There we go. You have to split the paper off. So if I go like this, and then just peel like a band-aid, but not too fast. There we go. Wickedly awesome. Oh, I love that. You can take this and then just go right back over it. Now will it give me, let me just re-emphasize the blue here. Now let me go over the black. Let's see what I get. And I'll just put my handprint. I won't push this down, just here. And then what it does is oh, you won't be able to see it. Sugar. Here we go. The bubble wrap, it bubble wrap blue. Texture Fiero. Isn't that awesome? Oh, I love it. I love it. Okay, put this aside, Gisele. I spend more time digressing, apologizing for digressing. Because I get so, my right brain just goes ballistic. And I have such a good time doing all this stuff, and I could do this stuff all day. When you're stenciling words, you got to make sure that the page is on the right side that you want. So I could make it here and put the words, or I can make it a facing page. I'll just make it a back facing page, no big deal. So I'm going to work with the zebra border. And I could do it two ways. I could put the word imagine right in the middle. Then I could decorate something here, because there's a little gully, so I'm talking about doing it like this. Okay? Or I can start at the bottom like that, or even turn it upside down where it's pointing. It doesn't really matter. Well, it does matter because you have to do it right. You can even do it on an angle. That's actually what I'm going to do. I'm going to do it at an angle. So now I'm going to use iron graphite. Exactly the same technique. Now this one's a little bit stiffer. So what I will do is after filming, I will sprinkle a little bit of distilled water on here. To soften it. Where's my masking tape? Let me just bear with me for a sec. This stencil is awfully big for me to be able to handle it while filming. Yeah, I can cover that, that's fine. And I changed my mind. I'm going to stencil the word imagine in a different color. You can make this as thick as you want or as thin as you want. Just keep in mind, the thicker it is, the longer it will take to dry. And for me, it doesn't matter. I want to put a little bit of a border here. I don't want the texture Fiero going to the very edge in case it flakes off. This is just more of a preventative thing, because I will probably add some type of border to this in the decorating stage. But this stuff here, it will flick off if it goes a little bit past the edge of the paper. You know what? Let's not bother. You know why I changed my mind about that? Like not putting this on? Because my ATCs are right to the edge and they're fine. But mind you, I put this on first and then I cut them. This I'm going right onto paper that's not cut. So that's where I'm running into a challenge, but let's see how that works. No pressure, eh? And if you've been following me for a while, you know that I do not edit out my mistakes or my blunders or failed experiments. I show everything on camera. The only thing I edit out is if Mia goes ballistic barking because there's a courier at the door or delivery or a neighbor or somebody who wants to chat and they're not supposed to come and chat without phoning first. There we go. Nice and thick. Just like that. There's a big hard piece right here. I'm going to get rid of that. There we go. Okay, so I'm going to cover that one up. Imagine I am looking at iron brown. I am really peeking at this one. I love this color. I don't know why you don't use it more often. It's absolutely stunning. I'm going to let that sit just for a second. I'm going to position this. And yeah, that's about where I want to go with this one. I'm going to lift them all up. I'm going to lift them up at the same time, only because I don't have the room to put the stencil. So I'm going to spread this over. Now this stencil is actually damaged. The end will go through solid. You know how I damaged it? I wasn't paying attention. I was just a little too rough with it. Perfect. Oh, I couldn't have get it. Oh my God, I couldn't have done it more perfect if I did it again. This one I'm not sure about. Wow. Now, isn't that beautiful? Now, let me just put this down. Look at the thickness of this. Look how thick that is. Beautiful, isn't it? Okay, so now I'm going to let this sit. Just kind of pushing up. This is what I was worried about. That's okay. Just going to push it down just a little bit. Better to do it now than when it's dry, because then it'll flake off. You can lightly sand it as well. Just make sure you wear a mask for the dust. This is non-toxic, but all dust particles, if you inhale it, is not good for you. Okay. I don't know where I'm going to put this. Oh my God. Okay. We need to put this product back. Now, you can just scrape it and put it back in here. This one didn't have too much on it. It's just going to go right back in my bucket. When you do that, you run the risk of contaminating. I don't care, personally, because I use this stuff so often, and I have a batch of product for my journaling and a batch of product for my formal teaching of professional designs. And the Texture Fiero is not in that category, not because it's not teaching professional designs, but I don't use this a lot for backgrounds for my pet portraits because it's too hard to get detail when you're painting on this. Look at that. Isn't that beautiful? So all that's left to do with this now to clean all the tools. Okay, clean the palette knife, clean the stencils, clean everything. Preferably wipe everything off first, because you don't want an abundance of this stuff going down your laundry tub. Okay? And better yet, if you can scrape it off and reuse it on another journal page, just so you don't have to throw, you know, any of the product in the garbage, that's even better. But see what I'm doing here? I'm just kind of gently pulling. You can spritz this with water. If you're on a journal page, spritz it with water, and you can wipe a little bit more. And what you'll end up with is kind of like a smudged, distressed fill inside. Okay, you'll end up with something like that. All right, so let's put this over here. We have this one. If that flips over, I'm going to be so mad. And then we have this one. Oh, okay, so now this will have to be the facing page if I wanted these side by side, and then this one will go this way. If I wanted to keep them side by side, you don't have to. You can put them any way you want. Okay, look how beautiful that is. I am so happy with this one. All right, I'm done for the evening. I will see you tomorrow when this is dried. And at this point, there's nothing left to do. What is this? Oh, that's a piece of paper from the bubble packing. There's nothing left to do with this. We just let it dry. But I do want to show you what it looks like when it's dry, and you can see how flexible the pages are, even with this medium, which looks like it's probably about 1/8 of an inch thick. All right, so have a good evening, and I'll see you tomorrow. All right, 24 hours later, and this is all dry now. I absolutely love this. Is probably one of the best pieces out of the whole series. Look at this. Isn't that gorgeous? Now let me see if I can get a nice close-up. The camera fights with me when it can't find anything to really focus on. Look at that. Isn't that beautiful? Look at all that texture. Now let's see if I can just... I don't know if the camera will stay focused, but look at that thickness and texture. Let's see if I can... There you go. You have an idea what's happening there. Isn't that beautiful? And then this one. Oh, look at that. See where the bubble wrap was on? This is when I put down the bubble wrap that was still attached to the paper. I was bubble wrapping the wrong side. And then I found the bubble wrap. Look at that. And this part here is I bubble wrapped over the blue. No, what did I do? I bubble wrapped over the black, then went over to the blue, and then and some of the black transferred. Beautiful, absolutely beautiful. So this creates some really, really, really nice backgrounds for some work. This is a page by itself. How beautiful is that? Although adding the word is really not something I would do in a background, but I just had to show how flexible, how versatile the Texture Fiero is. Now this one here, it can be used as a background page as itself, okay, and you can basically decorate it, and I wouldn't journal on top of this unless you've got markers or whatever that you don't care if they get ruined. I would probably collage letters or words or, you know, journal cards or something. We're going to do that in part 2 of the series. What you can also do with this, if you have a die cut machine, you can put it through the die cut. Now, because this is, think of it like a stone product, you don't want to use your really delicate dies. And don't do a die that has so much detail, because this is the mixed media paper. You can experiment maybe on thinner paper with the Texture Fiero. I have no liability, you know, if you break the die. So just use your best judgment. Most of you are experienced die cutters out there, so you'll know what your dies can and cannot do. I know that one of my punches, that the circle punches, I wouldn't dare do with this, but then I have another one that I can punch very thick stock, but what it cuts out has no interest for me. It was just more of something I picked up when I was learning, and but I do have a Sizzix die that cuts out these little, what look like box labels, and that would be nice for this. But I'm keeping this for an actual journal page because I already have an idea what I would love to demonstrate on this in part 2 of the series. So there you go. So I hope you give this a try. The Texture Fiero, you can find it at most art stores, Michael's. You can even go to decoart.com. They have where you can get more information about the product. But I love this because you can put this on anything, paper mache. You know, if you have a paper mache vase, you can put this on there, and all of a sudden it looks, wow. You know, looks like it's, you know, this beautiful granite style vase that you have. But absolutely love it. I'm all excited. Can you tell? Anyways, so stay tuned now for the next Book of Backgrounds video, and where we continue on with our adventures. And until then, stay inspired.